Hi everyone, delonewolf here. Welcome back to some EVE Online, and in today's video I want to have a bit of a discussion about the Shadow of the Serpent event that CCP deployed. I've not played this very much, and you can see it's pretty strange. I'm actually going to fly a Dominik in this video. This is also a post-recording because I was trying to do it live while I was doing some of those sites, but I do need to pay a little bit of attention, and so doing the commentary at the same time didn't work out all that well. But why am I flying a Dominik? Because I do think that there are a few things that CCP did right when it comes to the Shadow of the Serpent event. First of all, you can see it right here, it's the visibility of the event. So what's great is you have the scope network window that gives you an idea of which sites you have to do. You also see the available sites in local straight on your overview. So the visibility here is really great. Of course, we already know that they did this in the previous events as well. So it's not like they changed a lot, but adding the scope network window, why not? It's definitely a great addition. The other thing that I think they did right is the fact that you can use any ship. So if I want to fly this Dominik's battleship, which is actually a PvP battleship that I've got ready in the Citadel, I can do this. And why do I think that that's a great idea? It is because this makes these sites and this event more available to newer players as well. Not all players can already fly a Tech 2 cruiser with Tech 2 fittings, which are some of the favorite ships when it comes to exploration, especially in high-sec, and doing these sites as well. So they still have the option to basically oversize the sites when it comes to when it comes to finding a way of actually running them. So even a newer player can try to get into a battleship, and then that battleship will have a much stronger tank and will allow them to handle a lot of these sites. So we are actually entering one of the tougher sites here once again, which this time I'm gonna do with this Dominik's battleship. But I think what is also being shown here is one of the aspects that I like the least about the Shadow of the Serpent event. It's that you're limited to a certain amount of sites, a certain specific sites that you need to find. And this to me feels completely like a mistake, because you can see that there were 5-6 sites available in local, but only a few of them would actually yield me some reward, and that is completely counterintuitive. It does make you feel like looking around for the sites is a big waste of time when there's a lot of them that you could be running actively. And so that is definitely, in my opinion, the biggest mistake when it comes to having added all of these new types of sites in the Shadow of the Serpent event, is that they're not allowing us to basically run any site and get credit for running these sites. I mean, I think it would only make sense that if there's trouble with the Serpentis and also the Angel Guards, that any destruction of their facilities, of their ships, would actually be welcomed by Concord and the Scope Network and would thus yield you some rewards. So this is probably my biggest gripe, especially at first. I was running a lot of sites and not getting any credit because, well, they were not the right sites. The biggest problem that I'm seeing with this as well is that this can really hit new players very badly. Let's say that the sites that they have to run is this one, which is a pretty tough one. Then they have to kill the guards, which are really tough battleships that you need to go look for, and then the final one will be kill drifters. I mean, a new player is going to be completely stuck by that limitation of only 4 current tasks can be fulfilled at the current time. So I think honestly the first thing that CCP should do to make this event make just more sense and be more fun to do is that open this up completely. You do any site, you get credit towards earning point for doing that site, regardless of whether or not it's amongst your top 4. So just make that window every site, every task available. You can run any of them at any time. I think that would help a lot. Another thing that I didn't like about the Shadow of the Serpent, it's actually not something that is going to hit me personally, but I saw it on Reddit, is that there are special rewards, right? Like blueprint copies of the new Serpentis super capital ships, but this time they're going to go to basically the best grinders of this event. So the people that put in most time, earning the most points, are straight up going to get them. Why do I think that this is a bad choice? Because we've already had the right choice previously, which was with the research component events. Don't make this straight up a grind competition. It's only going to encourage people to start account sharing so they can run it 24 hours a day. It makes it inaccessible to most players that actually join these events. Instead, what I personally think they should have done is just run that as a lottery, just like with the research components. Make every 100 or 500 points an item that will get you a ticket in that lottery, and that way, at least the more effort you're putting in, it still gives you a better chance at those great rewards, but everyone can feel like they're still working towards a chance on some of these extremely good rewards. And so I think that would have been a much better way to handle it. They handled it the exact right way with the research component race when it came to the blueprint copies of some of the citadels when those came out. And honestly, I think they should have just stuck to that formula. Make it something that anyone at least has a chance to get, but finally, the more you grind in the event itself, the more points you get, or the more tickets you get inside the lottery. Have that be an item that is tradable as well. That was actually a really important component of the success, I think, of the research component idea with the Citadel expansion or with the Citadel blueprint copies, is that you could trade these with other players. So it wouldn't just be about grinding these sites out, but there's also an economic reason. At first these went for a lot of money, and I just straight up sold them for ISK, kept like 10 tickets, and I was happy with that. If I'd get extremely lucky, great. If I didn't, I would have made ISK from the lottery. And so this, honestly, I think would have been a much better way to handle the extra incentives that CCP wants to add to this event. In this case, of course, blueprint copies of the Serpent super capital ships. So it makes sense to want to add these, but I think you have to make them at least somewhat accessible to everyone if you want this to be an incentive to actually run these sites, run parts of this event. Yeah, the previous way was, in my opinion, the perfect way of running that. Another thing that I don't like here is that the rewards are actually hidden, or they try to be hidden behind loot containers. So you've got bronze, silver, and then gold, depending on the amount of points you have. Why do I think that that was a really bad idea? Well, this stuff gets data mined anyways. CCP, it's EVE Online, it's an EVE player base. They'll figure that out, they'll post it everywhere, and they'll make every possible calculation about it. And so if you're looking for what are the rewards, you'll end up on a website, and unfortunately, immediately after that, you'll find out that the calculation is, it's not worth your time. It would be much better for you to just grind out some missions, grind some incursions, do a little bit of mining, and then just purchase that stuff from the market, because you're spending way too much time just trying to get to these rewards. So I think, honestly, trying to gate this, trying to hide this behind loot containers is a very bad idea. Instead, what they should have done is they should have added more rewards, I think, but made it a progression bar that you could constantly keep working on. So personally, if I would have been in charge there for the rewards window that you get when you log in, I would have had way more rewards. I would have added like a lottery ticket every 100 or maybe 500 points, depending on how you wanna run that. And then just yeah, add blueprint copies of ships that make sense amongst this team in the storyline. Add other clothes, add maybe some of those boosters, maybe something else, just extremely small stuff. But at least that as you keep doing these sites and you earn 100 points, 200 points, or 500 points, at least you know that you've got something new in the bag, rather than, well, these containers which you'll want to do research on, and then you'll unfortunately find out that it's basically not worth it to run the event here when it comes to your time spent in the game. So yeah, I think those were basically the biggest mistakes when it comes to the Shadow of the Serpent event. Honestly, good job on the visibility, the accessibility here. I think that's run really great. The one little gripe about that I would add is that it's probably gonna be a good idea to make clearer credit mechanics so that you know exactly what it is you need to do in order to get credit for the sites, because a lot of people now are actually like sitting around in capsules that don't get shot in the NPCs in the site that you just saw, just to have a chance to get free credit, stuff like that. Make that extremely clear, easy to understand, and then of course what I would change is first of all, open up every site so that you can run any site at any given time, and secondly, of course, make the rewards visible and make a better progression path among them. And then finally, for the extra juicy rewards, make that a lottery so that everyone feels like they can work on that, work on their chances to get that reward. And if they don't want to, give them that option, just like with the research components, to sell it for ISK, because that was a great part, I think, of that research race. Anyways, those are my thoughts on Shadow of the Serpent. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all next time.